Wow. 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 What an insane episode. This episode, Doctor Who, The Reality War, has actually left me very, very shocked. And I am baffled. This has definitely got to be one of my favourite Shooting Outward episodes. Probably the best one. Probably the best episode in a long time. I left this episode absolutely baffled. I was very, very excited. There were so many moments in this episode that absolutely just shocked me. And I love when Doctor Who does that. I love when Doctor Who throws twists into episodes that just leave you gasping. This episode was insane. I can't wait to make the review on this episode. This is actually insane. So, first of all, I've just got to say, this episode was just action all the way through. It kept you on the edge of your seat at all times and was just thoroughly entertaining throughout. And that's one thing that I've got to say that makes this episode so insanely good. There are a couple of things about this episode that I think are going to be controversial and that are also going to be a bit, to fans, and I know people are going to be annoyed about these things in these episodes, but personally, I thought this was a banger of an episode. I thoroughly enjoyed this episode, and I think it's my favourite episode probably since Jodie's final episode. And I'd say Jodie's final episode was like a highlight of the Jodie era to me. I think her best episode is her final episode, and I can definitely say that about Ncuti as well. My favourite episode of Ncuti's era is probably this episode, and I think it could definitely be on par, definitely with Jodie's last episode, just with how much goes on, the twists, the action in this episode. I genuinely, there was a scene in the episode where UNIT are in the tower firing at all of the bone beasts, and it genuinely felt like a scene out of Star Wars. The action in this episode was unlike anything I have ever seen in Doctor Who before. You've then got the Doctor, flying through the bone beast and then coming out the mouth. That reminds me of, when Luke Skywalker was in the X-Wing and he just, flew out of the Death Star and then it explodes behind him. It felt very, very much like that level of action, which from Doctor Who is insane. So, yeah. Also, the acting in this episode was 10/10 all around, from Veronica through to everybody in this episode. There's so many people in this episode that I can't just go out and name everybody individually, because there is just so many different people within this episode. It's it felt like a grand finale. It felt like it had that wow factor that Doctor Who should have in a finale. So, yeah, I absolutely enjoyed this episode. Again, the Rani, really good. I enjoyed the Rani. I must admit, I haven't seen any of the classic stories with the Rani or Omega in. So, I can't really comment on how closely portrayed them characters were to their classic predecessors, if you could say that. But yeah, basically, I can't really say how close they were, but in this episode, for what it was, Rani seemed very, very good. Then we got to go on to this Omega reveal. the tension, the build-up was really insane. I found myself on the edge of my seat throughout the entire sequence, and the Doctor basically defeating Omega and pushing him back into his tomb. Again, another really, really insane sequence, which I was on the edge of my seat for the entire time. One thing I would say though, if I had to little nitpick, I think Omega was too quickly defeated. He didn't seem to have that much screen time for being such a big threat and so hyped up. And I'm not the biggest digger of the... I don't dig the Omega look from this episode. I thought they had such a good opportunity to bring back Omega with that classic mask look, and they failed to utilize it. They went for a CGI alternative, like a big CGI alternative, the same as what they did with Sutekh, but this one, it gave that same vibe as it did with Sutekh, using this CGI alternative, which I'm not the biggest fan of. But in terms of this episode, it looks threatening to the Doctor. The size looked threatening. It did feel like a proper threat to the story. Just how Omega picked up the Rani and ate the Rani. It's just such a... So it did feel really, really fun to watch in the episode. But the design, again, the same sort of thing as going for what happened with Sutekh. Same two things. The design and how that villain was defeated. Then we got, again, there's going to be spoilers in this video if you couldn't tell already. A hell of a lot of spoilers, but the 13th Doctor returning, I really, really like this. I'm not going to lie, I gasped when this happened because I was not expecting the 13th Doctor to pop up in this episode at all. But I think it's perfect because, I mean, the 13th Doctor needed an extra cameo, and I'm glad we got this because this 13th Doctor cameo alone makes me want to go back and rewatch the 13th Doctor's era. And I think the 13th Doctor's era does get more hate than it deserves, really, because yes, it's not the best era of Doctor Who, I've got to admit, but it's not as bad as what people made it out to be, if that makes sense. Yes, there is some really, really bad episodes in it. I'm never wanting to rewatch them episodes ever again in my life. Bad. But there are also some decent episodes in there as well. So you've got to... It's a bit of give and take. It's not as bad as... I rewatched the 13th Doctor's era about a year or two ago, and I remember enjoying it a lot more that time around than when I first watched it. So, yeah. Then we had the big reveal that Billie Piper would be returning, potentially as the Doctor. Now, I must admit, it's been a little bit since the episode aired. It's been a little bit since I've watched the actual episode. But this return is in it's still shocking. I gasped at this return. It was just insane return. I did not expect this at all. I heard one rumour that Billie Piper was going to be the Doctor, but I thought it was kind of a joke rumour. I didn't really take it that seriously, so I heard one thing, but apart from that, nothing. So I was genuinely surprised when Billie Piper turned up. I don't know if she is going to be the Doctor, if this is going to be a special thing, and she's going to be in a special, and then it's going to turn out that there's something that's gone wrong. Possibly, there could be a possibility, but either way, I love Billie Piper. I think she's a phenomenal actress. I loved her as Rose Tyler in Doctor Who. So I'm interested to see where Russell T Davies takes this in the future. But yeah, all in all, thoroughly enjoyed the episode. I'm very excited to deep dive into the episode and get my review out there. I've got so many reviews to do, so what I'm going to try and do is I'm going to try and break these reviews down and properly nail them over the next couple of weeks, and just try and get a Doctor Who video or some sort of Doctor Who review out every single day. I think that's going to be the goal with this whole thing. So obviously, if you're new around here and you want to watch my Doctor Who reviews, my in-depth Doctor Who reviews, then hit that subscribe button and smash a like on this video right now. I would massively appreciate it if you could smash a like and subscribe as always. And yeah, that's basically the end of this whole video. So thanks for watching. Comment, like and subscribe. Stick around for all of the Doctor Who content coming out very soon. I've got so many videos, even more theory videos now coming off of this episode. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. Please comment, like and subscribe, and I'll see you all in the next video. Peace.